Hi, and welcome to the third and final note-taking guide in our first unit on Algebra 1 review. During this note-taking guide, we'll be discussing ratios, rates, proportions, direct and inverse variation. But to begin, if you've not already done so, please pause the video, read the 3 short paragraphs on the top of your note-taking guide, summarize them on the lines below, making sure that you answer the 2 questions listed underneath the 3 paragraphs. And I'd also like to remind you that you need to use correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling. When you're finished and ready to begin the note-taking guide, just restart the video and we'll be on our way. All right, we're going to start this note-taking guide off with some vocabulary. So we're going to be talking about ratios. And what a ratio is, it is a comparison of 2 values with the same units. An example might be a ratio where you're comparing volts to volts, or feet to feet. We're also going to be discussing rates. And rates are a comparison as well, and it's the comparison of 2 values, but they have different units. And I'm sure everyone can think of a rate really quite easily. The 2 that pop into my mind most frequently would be dollars per hour. How much are you making on your job every hour? Your wage. Another one that might be of interest to people is miles per gallon. That would be your mileage. Those are just a couple different rates that we use in everyday life all the time. When we have 2 equal rates or ratios, we have a proportion. Moving on to direct variation. What that is, it is a relationship between 2 quantities. And as one of them increases, the other increases, and vice versa. As one value decreases, the other value decreases. And once again, we can look to wages and the number of hours worked. If you're working at an hourly rate, the more hours you work, the more money you have in your paycheck. And conversely, the fewer hours you work, if the number of hours you work is declining, the amount of money in your paycheck is declining. So they move in the same direction. They either both increase or both decrease. And we have a formula for that, and we can figure out generalized equations for the situations, and that is one value is dependent on k times the other value. And in this case, k is the constant of proportionality. In other words, in my example above about wages and hours, the constant would be the amount you're paid per hour. If you're paid $10 an hour, that would be your constant of proportionality. All right, and our last two vocabulary words are inverse variation. And what that is, it is the relationship between two values as one increases, that's an arrow, sorry about that, the other decreases. So as one goes up, the other one comes down. And, or conversely, as one decreases, the other increases. An example here would be the number of hours it takes to complete a job and the available workers on the site. That is, if everybody's working as they should. And here our formula is y equals that constant of proportionality over x. We can also write that just using some simple algebra. X, y equals k. And k is still the constant of proportionality. That's it for this video on vocabulary, and we're going to pause here and then you're going to start up the next video and we'll be working on ratios and rates and doing some examples.